Let's get the vibe going. Drop a little sweet beat, if you will.
Let's go.
Wait for it.
Sneaks up on you.
Yes, it does. Go again, mic check 1 2 1 2. Again, this is Courtland W. Hankins III, aka the president of hip hop, and you are tuned into The Sweet. Today we have a very special guest, a legend in hip hop, and a legend that has been made and is still in the making. In the hip hop archives, his name is solidified. None other than Mr. Andre Leroy Davis is in the house today. Andre Leroy Davis, aka
ugly face.
A.L. Dre. There it is. All right, so we're gonna turn it down just a little bit so we can get into it.
So that was nice.
Thank you very much.
That was nice.
Appreciate that.
That was sweet.
That was sweet. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so we'll just let it flow just on the bottom, just a little bit, so the vibration is still there.
Yes.
Again, I'm very honored to have with us today the preeminent artist in. That's right, my man. Preeminent artist in hip hop, Mr. Andre Leroy Davis, or AKA also known as A.L. Dre.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get right into it. Just let you know quickly. First of all, thank you very much for coming today.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right, very much. I'm honored. The Sweet is a platform that is created as a socio-political, educational, sort of like Gil Noble's Like It Is meets hip hop. That's how I envision it. All right,
that's pretty good.
And thank you very much. And as we grow up within hip hop, you know, I believe hip hop should continue to grow with us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we leave a path for those that are still, you know, coming up.
Yeah.
You know, as they grow, you can't always act 20 and 25.
Yeah.
You got to fall into a grown-up's place.
Yes.
Right? So this is what this platform is created to, you know, speak grown-up issues with a hip-hop consciousness.
Cool.
All right?
Cool.
So,
I like that.
With all that being said, let's get right into who you are. All right. I like to go into past, present, and future. Sometimes I start today. I'm going to start with past.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Tell me. Tell us.
Tell us.
Tell the world.
Yes.
All right. Who you are. Where you're from. Let's start with where you're from.
Born and raised in Brooklyn. Moved a little bit all over Brooklyn, but Brooklyn is the home.
Brooklyn's the home.
Mother and father both from Barbados.
Okay.
Came here, met each other here in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I was born in Brooklyn, Crown Heights. Spent like 10 years of my life in Crown Heights. Moved to East Flatbush for like 2 years.
Okay.
Moved to Park Slope for like 2 years.
Okay.
And then moved to straight up Flatbush and stayed in Flatbush for like 30 years of my life before moving to Brownsville 3 years ago. Brooklyn.
Well, welcome to the Bronx. Have you ever left Brooklyn?
Have I ever left Brooklyn? Not living wise, but I've dated women who were in the Bronx, which was always the only reason that got me to come to the Bronx. At that point, was a woman. But as an adult, taught in the Bronx. So I actually like coming to the Bronx.
Okay, good.
I mean, in this weird aspect, you know, certain parts of the Bronx, you got the stairs, you got to go up in the middle of the street.
Oh yeah,
that kind of bug stuff. But I appreciate.
You're on the mainland.
Yes, right? I appreciate a lot of the Bronx. Actually, a teacher now, so I brought my kids to the Bronx like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Just to get a tour of the Tats crew and their work.
Excellent.
And all
so you went over there to Hunts Point area and all of that.
Yes, yeah.
Excellent.
So I'm not afraid of the Bronx.
Good. Yeah. And you know, a lot of the cats from Brooklyn, they act like the Bronx is like.
But that was an old myth in the 70s. You
know, going up
straight
Canada,
right? Yes. Well, you think about it, it's like a 2-hour plane flight to Florida, like 2 hours train wise. To the Bronx.
You know, it is a trek. I mean? Especially, you know, we used to go to Coney Island back in the day. You'd be like, goodness.
That's like the Warriors movie right there. You got to make it through all them different trains.
Yeah, it was like 2.5 hours before we finally got to Coney Island.
Yeah. So you got to pack some luggage out. It's like you're going on a plane flight.
Exactly. So, you know, from planet Brooklyn to the planet Bronx. All right. So, you did say you were in education now. We'll get into that a little later.
Cool.
But now as to your relationship with and to hip hop.
Okay.
How are you related to hip hop? Tell the people why I introduced you the way I did.
I'm not sure why you did, because I leave that up to people's opinion. But I'm one of those people like yourself who chose to love hip hop. There's a difference now. Kids grow up, that's all they hear, it's on the radio. I was like 12, 13.
Okay.
Loved music, loved funk, loved James Brown, loved Parliament, and then I heard this thing called hip hop when I was like 12. So it just called me, like early crack. It's like, it's calling me, you know. And I was like, what is this? And then I remember being at a block party in like 1978. And that's the first time I heard a DJ cutting up good times.
Okay.
And that just intrigued things even more.
Okay.
So in the midst of that DJ cutting, hearing the Fatback Band, hearing Sugar Hill Gang, those records, King Tim III and Rapper's Delight, just was like, yo, I gotta find more of this. And then Curtis Blow came out. With Christmas Rapping and These Are the Breaks. And it's like, yo, there's no other way I can run from this. And then Spooning G came out. And I was like, it was just one after the other. So like I said, I loved all that other music I heard before. But I chose to love hip hop at that point. So from that age, 12 in 1978, that led to the course where I am now, where I wanted to explore every element of hip hop. Not knowing I was exploring it because I was just living it. I was in the midst. I wasn't a choice. Then when I went to high school by the age of 15 in the city, art and design, high school. So in that high school, you had everybody who was skilled art-wise, coming from all the different boroughs. Coming to one school. Art. Just art in general. You had cartooning, illustration, painting, fashion, all in one high school.
All creative.
Yes, everything. So, picture this. I was the best artist in my junior high school. I got the award at graduation. Here you come to a high school where every other artist got the best award,
artist, right?
And now they come in there. So it's like, yo, I got to step my game up. But like I said, you had people coming from the Bronx who broke. They had on the name belts. They had on the hats. And a different flavor than I was used to in Brooklyn. And you had kids coming from Queens. So it's early stages of hip hop in the 80s for us. And we were all just living it. It was nothing we thought would go anywhere because we weren't thinking about it. It's just we're living it. So that's what brought me to where I am now. The experience of just living and loving hip hop in high school.
Excellent. What was that high school again you went to?
High School of Art and Design.
High School of Art and Design in Manhattan.
In Manhattan. So I had to travel from Brooklyn to Manhattan.
Gotcha. Now, when did you first know that you were gifted as an artist?
Well, I had an older brother. Well, not had. I have an older brother who draws. He's 8 years older. So I used to watch and marvel at him drawing. So I guess he probably was, maybe he was like 13, 14. So I was watching him, and I guess I was a little bit of a brat at that age. So he would draw me, he would make fun of me, do drawings and caricatures and all that kind of stuff. And I'd got some paper, pencil, and I would try and be like him. And then I realized, I guess at that young age, that you know I could draw. I was
something, right?
So my mission at that age was to be better than my older brother, to be able to draw and make fun of him as well. So that's where the caricatures and all that other kind of stuff started from.
So you started to clap back?
Yes, yes. But on a full scale, full solid album. Unlike Ja Rule's Clap Back. With one single. I was a whole album coming at him, every single. So there's not a time I can't remember when I was not drawing. So when people ask me when, I don't know. Just watch.
Fall back
it's natural. Remember. Yeah, but that's where it came from. So I give my brother credit. For inspiring me to where I am.
Excellent. So your brother was your first influence.
Yes.
Who were other influences?
For me, when I was that age, I didn't realize there were influences.
Okay.
Until I got older. All I know is I like to watch Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. When he would have the Brown Hornet every now and then.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So then my brother also had comic books. He had DC comic books, Superman, Green Lantern. And seeing those for the first time, I was marveled at just the artwork and everything. But then somehow, I don't remember where, I don't remember if it was my brother, I saw Marvel comic books.
Okay.
I saw Captain America. I saw the Falcon with Captain America. Okay. And I stopped looking at DC comics.
That was it.
That was it.
Made the transition.
It was like, yo, got to see this. Because Captain America was still my favorite character.
Okay.
We're
going to talk about that.
Okay. People's like, why? But he was my favorite character. And then that birthed me getting to know who the Falcon was. Okay. Because the black character is like, wow, I didn't see that. Definitely didn't see it in any DC comics. And then that birthed me to seeing Luke Cage. Okay. And that birthed me to seeing Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. The Falcon was my first, or at least the first that I remember, Marvel, what do you call it, figurines? Action figures.
You talking about the Mego dolls? What was it?
Yeah, they were like
Mego?
Mattel. What
yeah, it was Mego. It was Mego.
Mego, okay. Yeah. The action figure.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Right? So I had the Falcon action figure, and I held on to that thing for years. I don't know what happened to it.
I had that too, but they had a tendency for like the string inside the pop, and then the arms would just come loose.
Exactly. Then you have the armless, right?
Yes. You just have to throw it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I had all those too. Yeah.
Okay. So, your hip hop drawings, right? Now, you did a lot with the Source magazine, right? And I want to talk about that because the Source was, I would say still to this day, the most influential hip hop oriented magazine.
If you just stick to the facts, yes. Okay. A lot of people now say before it got bad, you know, at the end. But the reality is, for all those years when it wasn't, that's what it was.
Has anyone in its prime, in its heyday, right? Yeah. Has any other publication kind of topped it
no.
in the genre of hip hop?
Not in my opinion.
Right.
I mean, because I used to love, even though I was a part of the magazine, I used to love certain times when I'd be heading home, getting on the train, and the magazine had come out that week. I could get on the train, and you walk into a car, and you could see 5 or 6 people who didn't know each other. Right. One sitting there, all looking through the Source magazine. That's how hot it was. When it came out, people would buy it, they'd be reading it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And, you know, there's a part of me that wanted to be like, yo, but
check out this page.
Yeah, I didn't say nothing.
So let's talk about that page, right? Talk about what you did for the Source and your experiences at the Source and just hip-hop art in general. Okay.
Well, for me, because I'm from Brooklyn, and I'm competitive, and I am more or less a paused MC. I never say retired. It's still somewhere in there. It was all about, for me, anytime I created something for the Source, I saw it as going in the studio, writing my lyrics, creating an album each month. So anything I created and drew for the Source for the last page, it was like my album for the month. Gotcha. So it had to be on point. You couldn't check me. You couldn't diss me. You couldn't call me on anything. Everything was factual. Everything was drawn correct. Okay, so the joke was on point. The Illustrator was on point. Okay. That was my mentality. So
you covered all bases.
Oh, yes.
So nobody could come at you. You were ready. You had it well thought out.
Yes.
You had your responses ready.
Yes. I had to reply. I had to beat on standby to attack if I needed to.
Okay, there it is, right?
But my job was to visually summarize whoever was on the cover of the Source. Okay. Yeah. So that's what it became. When I first came there, actually it was a fluke. I was already freelancing, doing work for Discover Magazine, Playgirl, Emerge, all that type of thing. So I had already been freelancing probably like 3 years. Got out of college in '87. Okay. Freelanced the last 3 years. In 1990, I was doing work for Emerge Magazine, Playgirl, High Society, a lot of different things. And what you had to do was you had to walk around, go to different magazine stands, see what magazines were out, look through the magazines, see where they were located, find out the art directors' names, and you had to cold call about bringing your portfolio in for them to look at. Right. So my day was almost done. I was over by Broadway and Lafayette, getting ready to hop on the D train to head home. And I said, let me check this one last newsstand. And I saw this Source magazine. I'm like, what is this? Because I hadn't seen it. Looked through. Saw that the address was up the block, went into a phone booth, not to turn into Superman. But went in the phone booth, called up, and it's like, do you have any, art director to look at a portfolio? I was like, we don't have an art director. But yeah, this is how early in the source we're talking about. But it was John Schechter, who was the then editor-in-chief.
Okay.
I was like, I'm close by. I have my portfolio. So I more or less went across the street, rang the bell at, was it 594 Broadway? I can't remember the exact, but it might be. I might be right. Okay. Went to the office. They were in a room smaller than this. Probably like 6 or 7 people in there. Oh, wow. Yeah. He looked at my work. He said to me, yo, we've been wanting to add an element of illustration to the magazine. His vision was, he was a fan of Mad Magazine. Okay. And if you remember Mad Magazine, when you went to the back, there was a page that you folded to create something else. Exactly. So his vision was artwork to summarize what the issue was about each month. Okay. So what they wanted to do was, they were closing up the issue. It was about Eazy-E and the FBI. They asked me if I could come up with an idea. I sketched out the idea of what I thought I wanted to do. He okayed it. Told me I needed to come back in like 2 days with it. Okay. So came back in 2 days. In my mind, that was the only illustration I was going to be doing for them. Okay. That came out. That was the cover of KRS-One, September 1990. That came out. Called me back the next month to do another drawing for the next issue. And then that continued for 16 straight years, every issue. Yeah, wow. Yeah.
You got a lot of great classic pieces.
My hit albums. Hit albums.
There you go. Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
So, and then what I tend to do on the show, what will be done in the editing. Yes. Now that I'm a video editor, the pictures, and we'll get a little nice with it.
Cool. Hey, right? Hey, see, you got to make competitive MC flavor.
Yeah, I got a little bit of it too. That's right. Just enough to keep the fire going. Got to have a little bit of it. Yeah. In terms of just outside of the art, just working at the source, right? How was the environment? How was the?
Well, the reason why I stayed there for 16 years is I wasn't up there every day. Okay. It's easy to work and be the best that you can be when you aren't in an environment where it's kind of crazy and hectic sometimes.
Okay, so you had a little bit of separation.
That was the main thing. I was freelancing for other places as well as when I started with the source. Because I was only getting $50 for drawing at the source. So I was doing it straight up for the love. I wanted to draw hip-hop. I wanted to draw people that looked like me. And like I said, I was already freelancing. Right. So this was not a must-have that I was doing. Gotcha. It was a desire. It was a love. Gotcha. So I didn't have to be up there all the time. I could call and be like, yo, we're getting ready to close the magazine. Come by. This is what you got to do. Because there were quality people up there. Right. But they're creatives like myself. And they're crazy. A lot of them. And I knew they were crazy. Right. So I knew with my mentality then at 25, I did not need to be up there on the regular. Yes. Okay. Because once I started doing like 3 or 4 issues, I saw where the possibilities were going. Meaning I saw the magazine getting bigger. Right. I saw how people looked at it and spoke about it in the early days. I saw the power that it was getting, and I was like, this is going to be interesting. It could be a real positive or a negative, because the only magazines and stuff I was used to actually writing about hip-hop, it was either Word Up, which was just straight up photos, and more or less love and hip-hop gossip type thing. Exactly. Then you had Rap Masters, which is a little bit more hip-hop and pictures and less gossip. But then you would have the occasional story in Spin magazine about hip-hop. Right. Occasional story in Rolling Stone about hip-hop. And the occasional story in the Village Voice about hip-hop. But here you had the source where it was just straight up all hip-hop, cover to back, all hip-hop. It wasn't just soap opera, love and hip-hop type thing. It was in-depth stories, talking about stuff that really meant something to me, because I wasn't just working for it. I was a fan of it once I saw it. Right. So that was easy for me. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Easy. Now, I like Mahoning where you said powerful, right? Yeah. And how it could be used good or bad, right? And so let's talk about the power of hip hop. Yeah. Right.
Very good. I just taught a class about it called The Power of Hip Hop.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so The Power of Hip Hop. You said you just taught a class.
Yes.
Oh, and before we get into that, just remind us, because you mentioned it briefly in the introduction.
Yeah, teaching-wise.
You're in education.
Yes.
At the moment.
At the moment.
Okay, so tell us quickly what that is, and then about the Power of Hip Hop.
I'm teaching art at Ascend High School in Brooklyn, in the middle of Brownsville.
Right.
Middle of Brownsville, still trying to stay there. Now it'll be my second year. Now head of the art department. Okay. And what they do in January, they take they combine 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade. You get like a total of like 20-something kids, each teacher.
All right.
And they give you a different facet. Like you may have gentrification, you may have black businesses, you may have the power of my voice, power of art, power of hip hop.
Okay.
So I had power of hip hop. So I created the curriculum for what I wanted the kids to learn. So my goal was, like, on Monday I had 2 MCs come in. Okay. Sister named Prita Honey Dark, brother named Masanissa, and then I had Easy Mo B come in on the production tip, talking to the kids. Tuesday we took a trip to the Bronx, to the Tatch Crew, to experience their work on the walls, but they also did a special piece for the kids to watch to see how it developed, steps and stages.
Excellent.
Wednesday we had D Nasty, we had Curtis Sherrod, and we had Derek Cross, D Cross.
Okay, so D Nasty is?
D Nasty is an MC from, I think he's up in Mount Vernon, right? Okay. He more or less can come off the top, rhyme about any subject.
Right. For days.
And he's closer to the kids' age.
Right. Okay.
Which I really wanted that as well.
Okay.
Curtis Sherrod is just, for those who know Curtis Sherrod is Curtis Sherrod. Knowledge about everything. Right.
And hip hop culture of the Hip Hop Culture Center.
Yes,
Rapper Khan, DJ Khan. Right.
And knowledge of everything.
Yeah, knowledge of everything, right?
Without it being annoying, because you met people who have knowledge of everything and they mad annoying.
Encyclopedia Kurt.
Yes, right? Exactly. Then you have D Cross, poet, MC, beatbox, artist, man of many styles.
Right. Exactly.
So that was Wednesday, and then Thursday we had a b-boy come in and break and show them all the dance steps and whatever. Okay. So after experiencing all that, Friday, in order to pass the class, they had to do a presentation on what they learned from the whole week on that Friday.
Oh, that sounds dope.
Yeah, so that was
I want to be in that class. I want to take that course.
I was proud of myself because it was on point. And the kids actually, my goal was to, without being that grumpy old man being on the lawn and telling the kids, get off my lawn, your hip hop sucks.
Right.
I wanted to just have other creatives who lived and loved hip hop like I do, just explain what they get from hip hop. What's the power of hip hop to them? Okay. And present it to the kids. And the kids picked up on, most of the kids picked up on what I wanted. Right. And it's like, so some of them, when they would summarize it, they would say, well, hip hop started out as getting gangs separated and no more fighting and partying. It's not what it is today, where there's no lyrics and people shooting at each other. So the fact that the kids got that,
kind of got the I
was happy with the
where
ending.
It was and where it is now.
Yeah,
with the goal for it to kind of balance back and
come back to that. So without me standing there and saying, "Yo, your music sucks," I got the point across. Okay, like I wanted to.
So, a couple of things. Yes, I do want to talk about your music sucks, and if you really think today's hip hop music is bad and does suck. But I also want to talk about what do you think the importance is and how art complements education? Because a part of why hip hop started historically was because of the lack of
they took all the musical instruments away and everything. Well, I think a lot of kids have a lot of creativity in them, and it's different from when I was a kid. When I was a kid, the fact that I could draw put me in some kind of esteem in certain kids' eyes. Right. They knew if they wanted something to be drawn, they would come to me. Right. I didn't shy away from it. I felt good about it. Right. As a shy kid, as a shy kid, that was my thing. Okay. I see a lot of kids now that I teach who can draw, who don't want their friends to know that they can draw. Interesting. They don't want their friends to know that they're talented. It's like that dumb stuff that we come up with, where a smart kid didn't want his friends to know that he's smart. Right. Because they would either clown him or look down on him, or you speak like a white boy. Yes. That type of thing. So I see that now with creativity. Okay. Like kids who can sing won't tell their friends they can sing. Kids who can do art. So that, I don't know how we can overcome that by just making it comfortable for kids, like I tried to do with the power of hip hop.
Okay.
So at the end, I had certain kids who did graffiti, created different artwork for the different boroughs. I had kids who wrote rhymes and rhymed together. So it was trying to help them release inhibitions.
Right.
Don't be afraid of your own creativity.
Right.
Don't be afraid of your own talent. It's a positive that you have this gift.
Right.
Use it. So I think we just got to find more ways to get our kids comfortable with their creativity, because I think a lot of the kids now who are successful in the hip hop world did not show their friends they could rhyme.
Okay.
Right? So they did not practice. They did not get better. They did not improve. So now they come out and that crap we hear is because they did not practice. They didn't know that it's 4 beats and 16 bars and so I think with knowledge and being comfortable, you practice, you speak to other kids, you learn from other kids.
Right.
And then if you're smart enough, you seek out somebody who's older and mature who can give you the enlightenment.
Right.
If you keep it secret to yourself,
then the development gets a little stunted,
and it just,
if you will.
It's what it is.
Wow. Yeah. From the mind of a skilled artist and an educator.
Yeah.
That was.
And the bad thing is now, or bad thing now, or good thing now, is the fact that without that practice, you can still record and then send it out to the masses.
Right. And then
and they're falling for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is, how do you think they can fall for the power of hip hop? Again, the true power of hip hop.
You have to be since they're not in a classroom. It's like what you said to me earlier. We were talking about how you had read a book, and it inspired you to go find another book.
Right.
If a kid is not inspired to go seek out and learn more, they're gonna just remain stagnant with that one thing that they know, and they're gonna just excel with that one lesser material, that one less foundation, that one less skill. They have to be hungry enough to seek other ways of getting knowledge, other ways of nourishing their brain with stuff that they didn't know. And the main thing is you can't be afraid to say I don't know.
Right.
And a lot of kids are afraid. They think people are gonna call them stupid if they say I don't know. I'm like I say I don't know all the time. You know what I mean? Because then it allows me
to know.
Yes. Right? and as a teacher, if I say to you, "Do you understand?" and you say yes, as a teacher, then I'm moving to the next kid.
Right.
If you say you don't understand, then I'm gonna stay there.
A little time because it's my job to help you understand.
So I try to get them to know that. If you say you don't know, I'm moving on. Not because I don't want to talk to you, but I figure you got it. Let me get to this other kid who told me he doesn't understand.
Exactly.
So it's just not being afraid to say I don't know, and not being afraid to learn.
There you go. And the fifth element of hip hop is knowledge.
Yes.
So that's what we need to instill.
Yes.
Into more of our this future generation coming up. Because eventually there'll be we can't have 50-year-old dummies running around here.
We got enough 50-year-old dummies now
already, right?
We don't need more.
We don't need an infusion of more.
Yes.
Right? That's terrible for the culture.
Yes.
Right? So so there we go. So I will just say it sounds like you answered the question. You're not a big fan of the what's dominating in hip hop today. Well,
let's see. The other difference is it's like anything else. You got to go on the internet and you have to find the quality. I've become more informed teaching in Brownsville because this is what I do. When I'm teaching a class, they come into my classroom expecting to hear music.
Okay.
There's a reward when they come in the classroom that they get. I mean, they've gone through social studies, science, math, but they've got to be quiet. They got to be sitting there. My class, because when I was their age, my art classes were quiet. We weren't allowed to talk.
Gotcha.
I hated every minute of it. Even though I loved art,
you didn't like
I hated that.
Okay.
So with my class, you come in, as long as you were respectful, the level is right here. Conversation has to be, it could be you and your friends talking like how you do, but you got to self-edit.
Gotcha.
You know, so I tell them there's certain words they can't say. There's no niggas, bitches, all that in the classroom.
Gotcha.
So I expect the flow of the conversation. Then I put on music. They got to deal with my music. Okay. So I will pop in every day before we start class. First song I play is OJ's My Girl. Every class I teach, That's the first class I play. Song I play. They all are annoyed by it, but I love when I played it last week. They were all singing. They all
right?
know the lyrics by now. So, and then I let certain kids come up. They type in their song. They have to type in the edited version. Okay. So I've gotten to know some of their songs.
What they're listening to.
I've gotten to learn some trash that I knew was trash, and then I've gotten to learn some more or less underground songs that they are aware of that you don't hear on the radio, that they appreciate. So there are different factions that I'm hearing that, of course, I just call it Dr. Seuss, Electric Company, Cat, Sat, Fat, Rat, that kind of rhyming. And then you actually still got, you know, like, he doesn't fit into that mix, but you have like a J. Cole, who's lyrical, who he's probably my favorite from this generation in the last, 5, 6, 7 years. Okay. So this stuff out there, it's just not what you hear on the regular.
You gotta dig a little bit.
Yeah, like a Tekashi 6ix9ine and that.
Right. It's not what's dominating the playlist on our major radio stations. Right. Because, you know, what you do, I know when I was coming up, there was so much, the lyrics were so great, there was so much information. I learned a lot. Yeah. Right? Yeah. My mind was sparked. I was like, who's this? Who's Shirley Chisholm? Yeah. You know, there was... Yeah. So, and that is missing from today's...
See, for me, it was twofold. That's why when people ask me what is the foundation of what I do, comic books and hip-hop. Because when I read comic books, there would be certain words in certain comic books that were mentioned in the story that I had no idea what they meant. Okay. And that inspired me to go to the dictionary and look it up. So when people talk about, I don't want my kid reading comic books, that's fine and good, but think about this. Kids are reading. Right. You know, how you gonna stop a kid? It may not be what you want, and I can understand that, but the kid is reading. Right. Maybe they're inspired to look up a word they don't understand, and that leads to more knowledge. So
let me tell you, shout out to my Uncle JW. My Uncle JW. Right? Always says, he says, listen, I learned, you know, very smart man, articulate, but he credits his learning to, you know, read and actually be learning the language and vocabulary to comic books. Yeah. And he said it was from my interest in comic books, big words, the vocabulary there. He said that's what kind of, you know, was a learning foundation for him. So he always says, listen, if they want to read comic books, let them rock. Right?
Because I remember as a kid, although I hated reading Thor, because there was a lot of that henceforth and now, but I mean that's like Shakespeare, right? Back then for comic books, right? So there was a lot of stuff in there. Black Panther, reading about Africa, although it wasn't necessarily a realistic, you know, part of Africa created by a white man, but there were pieces that intrigued you and inspired you to read other things. And like you said, if they mentioned a certain name or something. I was one of those people who look it up. Right,
exactly. Now I want to segue into politics, and then after that we'll get into Captain America. I want to have a little Captain America talk. Okay. But we're in interesting times. This is a grown-up, you know, adult platform. So I want to pick your brain. Okay. Your political brain, right? And as a creative, I know you've got one, right? And from the, you know, from your artwork, I know you've got one. Yeah. Okay. What are your thoughts on what's going on in today's political atmosphere and arena?
Well, we are just in the midst of Trump and his, what's the wording? You might have to help me with it. His decision to,
the emergency?
Yes.
The state of emergency?
State of emergency and so-called people trying to enter the country on the borders. Just his way of doing things, because I don't know, maybe it was just me, but I thought he said Mexico was paying for this war.
I thought he did too. We'll have to fact check that, really? Right? But I believe so.
I thought I heard that. So now it's an emergency that we need a war when so-called all the people trying to cross the border has gone down the last couple of years, and it's probably at its lowest of people trying to enter illegally border-wise. So if, for me, just thinking about it today, if there's actual state of an emergency still, actually, as much as I love Obama, he should have used that same thing that Trump is using now, especially with the whole water situation in Detroit. Right. To me, that's a state of emergency. Correct. Where there's no water in a big ass city like
Michigan,
that. Right? Yes. So if Trump is going to use that power, that should be for still in Flint.
Right.
Enjoy Detroit with the water and stuff. That should have been, to a degree, I guess, the was it the hurricane in Puerto Rico?
Right.
It should be for situations like that. The fact that you can say it's an emergency, and then like 3 days ago he said something about he doesn't have to do it. He just decided to do it to speed up things. I mean, that right there cancels out the fact that it's an emergency to me. And one of the prime ways for him to hang himself is to let him just keep talking, let himself keep tweeting about whatever he thinks, because he hangs himself. He shoots himself in the foot every time.
But he's been doing that since
and he gets away with it.
Day one.
He gets away with it.
Right?
Yeah.
And he does get away with it. I do have a personal running bet that he's going to make the 4 years. I think I'm going to win that bet.
See, the thing is this. As much as I want him out of office,
right,
he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just crazy.
Yeah.
So we can deal with that. We have no choice to deal with that. Pence is a politician. He knows what he's doing.
Right.
He would be the one taking over.
Right.
Do we really want...
And see, that's the question right there, right? Because Pence would be the one taking over. And is he?
He's a politician.
Right.
And he knows what he's doing.
And is that better for those of us who are kind of, on, I guess, quote unquote, the other side?
Yeah.
Or not?
I'd rather an ass who doesn't know what he's doing stay president as opposed to somebody who knows what he's doing who's an ass.
Right.
And just keeps that straight, solid poker face.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's Jason.
Yeah. And he knows what's up. Yep. So,
exactly.
People got to think that full through.
So, what do you think about, we got a election year coming up in another year. I'm sure everybody's preparing for it. That's probably why Trump is trying to fulfill at least this promise, is to get something going and started on this whole platform of the wall. Build the wall. As for the campaign and re-election campaign coming up.
Yeah.
What do you think about, we've had a few people on the Democratic side, black folk. Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, I think Elizabeth Warren.
And I just heard Sanders committed
Bernie
today.
Sanders today. He announced that he's running again. So that's a name that already has some traction.
And he's not a Democrat, though he ran as a Democrat last year.
Okay.
I think he's like I forgot what he is, but I know he's not.
Like some sort of independent third party, libertarian or Green Party or something like that. Okay. But in order for success, you got to kind of choose between the top two, right? You got to get into the big leagues, right?
The big leagues.
Right, exactly. So, all right, so that's interesting. We have actually an actual name, someone who has more name recognition with Bernie Sanders. But do you think any of them will have who do you think has the best chance against Trump coming up?
Right now, in my opinion, nobody. Because everybody is announcing, but I haven't heard a voice yet.
Okay. Still a little early.
It's still early. You gotta throw out some elbows.
Okay.
See what's up, because I think Sanders and why am I forgetting the former vice president's name? Biden.
Right.
I think right now in polls, although only today Sanders committed, in most polls you have Biden, then Sanders, and then everybody else. Okay. And that's how the polls are. So you got somebody who's about to be 80, or would be 80.
Biden's up there? No, Sanders is.
No, I think Biden is like 78 or 79.
Okay, so I didn't know.
So by the time the election came, if he won president, he'll be 80.
In his 80s. Okay.
Sanders is not too far after that. So then you got the spectrum of those two white men who are from the old school political realm of things.
Right.
Then you have Kamala, and you have what's his name from New Jersey?
Booker. Cory Booker.
Yeah, Booker. So they're probably more towards our age.
Yes.
So you got that gap in between. Then with the amount of racism that's in America still, that Trump allowed to let thrive and flourish, I don't know if, I'll never say never, but I don't know if they would allow another black person to become president. And by allow, I mean would enough people come back out and vote again.
Right, with that same sort of momentum.
Not just that, but to match those who will really come out now because they don't want it to happen again.
Oh, so you think that it would swing the other way?
Yes.
That we wouldn't...
Because a lot of those rural areas.
We're not having that again.
A lot of them rural areas came out and voted for Trump that did not vote before.
Right, exactly.
So are enough of us going to come out who voted for Obama to match all those who now hyped up and believe and aren't afraid to not say what they believe? Are we gonna match?
You know, this sounds like a comic book, right?
Oh yes, the battle.
Right?
Yes, but yeah,
we gotta see some artwork.
Yes.
Surrounding that.
Exactly.
You know, I would love to see that. Yeah.
But that to me, that's really the concern. You know, and then do we have way too many Democratic choices where Trump could win because somebody canceled out, especially that the CEO of Starbucks, who wants to run as a third party.
Right,
he could cancel out some well-needed. So
that was almost what they were scared of with Bloomberg.
Yeah,
you know, from the last election or the election before last or whatever.
Yeah.
Right,
and as long as elections remain the way they are, meaning Hillary Clinton had more votes than Trump, but because it's separated by state,
the electoral college, and
anything is possible,
right? It's not who's got the most votes; it's who's got the most electoral votes. So that whole setup is a little, interesting.
Anytime you can tweak that and make it hard for certain people to vote in certain areas,
right?
You can win.
Voter suppression is, and they seem to have that. Anytime there seems to be an issue with voter suppression, right?
Yeah. Like that sister.
To go on the
Republicans' way. Yeah, because they make the final decision.
Exactly.
Like that sister, what was it, in Georgia?
Yeah, Abrams.
Yes.
Stacey Abrams.
The fact that she had to deal with suppression of votes and all that type of thing.
Exactly.
And that she lost by like 300.
Like a sliver,
So that's why I'm saying, as much as people hate Trump, it
always goes their way. But I guess, those of us, people of color, black people, and people of color in general, tend to vote more Democratic anyway. So I guess, if anyone's voice is going to be suppressed historically, it's our voice that will be suppressed.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think hip hop can do, right, as a culture, right, or subculture, right? And I say subculture. This is my own personal belief, is because I tend to still think it's not disconnected from black culture.
Yeah.
Right? In my personal opinion. So I'm really careful about disconnecting hip-hop as a standalone from black culture. Right? I have my personal issues with that.
Yeah, that's a whole other
right, exactly. But what do you think hip-hop, there was the Vote or Die campaign, right? How do you think hip-hop can be, do you think hip-hop has some responsibility to use its power of influence to with respect to the political?
Well, I won't say I'm disappointed in hip hop.
Okay.
I'm disappointed in those of us who claim to love hip hop, because hip hop is there for us to use, and if we don't use it correctly, it has absolutely no power. It's just there.
Right.
We as a black folks, I was just thinking about this 2 days ago. We as black folks currently could not and would not have survived in the 60s and the 50s with Martin Luther King, where everybody decided we aren't going to ride these buses. We're going to pool in with people. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Because people can't go like a whole week not drinking Pepsi.
Right.
They can't go a whole week. Who did the math? I see it so much in my
Gucci?
brain. Gucci.
The Gucci blackface?
You got so many people saying, it doesn't affect me. I'ma still wear Gucci.
Right.
I like rocking Gucci. I'm gonna do this. So we have no balls in hip hop to remain committed to something.
Right.
To make it excel where it can be used as power.
Right.
We need more of us to commit to do it, and that's like the older generation, 30s, the 50s, the first generation of hip hop. It's up to more of us to grab some of these kids, but then the kids are knuckleheads like how we were.
Right.
At that age, where it's like, don't tell me. So that should not stop us who are older from doing our own thing. Right. When I say to people, I love hip hop. How they interpret that is, you mean you still love what's going on now?
Right.
No, I interpret that as when I'm home chilling, I will throw in a Chubb Rock. I'll throw in Public Enemy.
Right.
I'll throw in the hip hop that I loved. Besides getting me pumped up, it lets me know from that teenager that anything is possible. That I do have strength. Mm-hmm. Friends that I'm still connected to from them are teachers, are doing all sorts of things, own companies or whatever. So that age, you can take it and go to power. Now, if you unite in one voice, like, we were talking about where we can't get everybody just to stand up behind one thing,
right?
One common ground. Because now you got people calling Kaepernick a sellout.
Okay.
Because he's possibly going back into the league.
Right. In this conversation, I was thinking about that, so you tapped right into my mind.
So I'm like, do you actually know? Because a lot of people just bandwagons. They heard about Kaepernick, don't know the full reason of why and what he did things for. So if that's the only reason you can call him a sellout.
Right.
So so it's like people need to be totally informed. People need to realize that everything's not going to be safe. You got to take a chance. You got to band with other like-minded people, have conversations with them. And that's the only way, if we all united in some kind of way,
right?
Then hip-hop has power. Right. Then hip-hop has a voice. If it's not, it's just there.
Yeah. Exactly. Sounds like something we've been going through. That's why hip-hop is black, because it's the same issue that's been happening for a long time, right?
It's annoying as hell.
So yeah, but that's why you're in the schools.
Yeah.
That's why you're continuing to do what you do, and everybody has to do. Yeah. Listen, that's all we can do. Yeah. But I believe
it's frustrating as hell, though.
It is very much so. But somebody got to do
it. And then I try to bring positive people around the kids.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Can we talk about Captain America?
Let's talk about Captain
America. All right. Because you mentioned Captain America being a big influence of yours, right?
Yes.
And I got a problem with Captain America.
Why do you have a problem with Captain
America? But I can't sit here in front and say like I had a problem with him when I was young. Right?
No. See, the thing is, I have no problem admitting that every now and then I'm a hypocrite.
Oh, okay. Right.
I mean, I'm a human being. So
right, exactly.
That's something you got to admit.
Right.
I got no problem with that. And I'm one of those people who's like, I would be kneeling all over the freaking place. Because I am aware of the misery and the abuse we as black people have to put up with in America. So the fact that Captain America is one of my favorite characters annoys the hell out of me.
I get it.
But if I explain to you why, then maybe you'll understand why.
Well, let's talk about it.
Okay. I've said this many a time. When I was reading Captain America as a kid, after looking through DC comic books and coming across Captain America, first of all, when I was reading the character in the 70s, he was from Brooklyn.
Okay. Scored 1 for Steve Rogers, right?
He was an artist.
Scored 2 for Steve.
I always had this thing about shield. So he had a shield.
Okay.
Then, from Brooklyn, artist, had a shield. When he was not dressed as Captain America, he had his shield in his portfolio and carried it around.
Okay.
How fly was that?
Okay.
All right. Okay. So right away, that was one of the reasons.
Wow.
Because I saw that and loved Captain America, I picked up the comic books. That led me to the Falcon. Okay. Captain America and the Falcon. Here's this brother who was an artist from Brooklyn and was hanging with a black
brother, right?
And I'm like, I ain't see that in any other comic books. So that led me from reading the Falcon to, I think there was like a guest appearance of Black Panther in one of the comic books. So Captain America led me to the Falcon. Falcon led me to Black Panther, which led me to the art of Billy Graham, who I didn't know at the time was a brother.
Okay.
Who
so
drew?
Billy Graham was an artist.
Yes, who drew Black Panther.
Okay.
And I, as an artist, I hated picking up comic books and not liking the way stuff was drawn.
Okay.
Even at young age, I was real picky.
You're like,
Yes, like, read this shit, but I got to look at these pictures.
Right.
But turned out it was Billy Graham, the artist. So finding out that name, I asked my brother about, other comic books. And Billy Graham was also drawing Power Man.
Okay.
So that led me to Power Man.
Gotcha.
And him, the art in there. So Captain America led me to all the black superheroes who are my actual favorites as a unit.
Gotcha.
But Captain America is still the favorite because he birthed me into reading those comic books and loving them. So
Dre.
Yes.
I didn't think it could happen.
Yeah.
But you may have me feeling a little, you know, because I always felt with Captain America, or at least as I became older and a little more, you know, conscious, black conscious, I was like, why has it got, you know, especially when he could pick up Thor's hammer. Yeah. Because you had to be the only person that could pick up Thor's hammer had to be so chaste of heart.
God, yeah.
And that, right? So as I became a little, you know, more aware of the politics of America, especially as it you know, related to my people.
Yeah.
And
he was blonde and blue eyes,
right,
too.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you got this, you know, this white guy who's representing America, who of course is a pure of heart. Yeah. He can pick. I was like, come on, man, I can't. No.
I'm with you. But like I said, he led those. But also, there was certain times in the comic book where he was fed up with America. Okay. And he didn't like how America was treating his boy Sam Wilson, the Falcon. Okay. He didn't like it. So that's when he disregarded the whole Captain America and became Nomad.
See, I didn't know that.
Yes.
So I need to get up.
Get up on it.
So he was a homie.
Yep.
He was Eminem.
He was well. don't disrespect Captain America.
Okay. So we'll get into that in part 2 another time. Okay. There we go. He was who was he then? JFK. Let's think of a white friend of the black man. Justin Timberlake. Who?
I don't know.
Justin Bieber.
Was there really
Hall & Oates?
Oh damn! You going there? He's a man eater. I don't know if I could find anybody to compare where it would fit the way I would want to tell it.
Gotcha. So
he was alright.
He was alright.
Meaning he was He was one of them slave masters back in the day who worked with Harriet Tubman to secure a place for the brothers to hide until everybody else got away. Okay. So he was still down for whatever. Right. But he felt a little guilty.
Right. Yeah. And he kind of like, listen, this ain't right, and I got a conscience.
Yes.
All right. He had
that was Captain
conscience.
America. Okay. When he switched and became Nomad.
Of course, that's Captain America.
Yes.
All right. Now, can I show you something in my stash?
Yes.
Okay.
Get the comic stash? Oh, see, those I love those. The Truth. Kyle Baker drew those.
Okay, so I know you know, and I got
all those.
I got all of them, right?
Yes.
And the Truth
went to college with
him. Is and who was the artist?
Kyle Baker.
And the Truth is about
I love that
the story of how Captain America came to be.
Yes. And
the first Captain America.
Yeah. It was the whole involved with they did the Tuskegee experiments.
Right.
On soldiers,
black soldiers.
And the story of that is they were experimenting on black people first with the serum that later on helped to create Captain America. So it like killed a couple of black people. Sort of their body. Yes.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
So there were a few that kind of distorted and killed them. Then the first one that was successful was Isaiah Bradley.
Yes.
But because he was black, they kind of sent him somewhere else on expeditions and all of that.
Yeah.
And then they gave it to the white man.
Yeah.
Right. So when I found that out, about
that was a great premise.
I was like, wow. Yeah. I knew it.
Yeah.
How did I, and I'm like, this is still not real,
It was a great premise. The idea of how to do that,
shout out to Stan Lee.
Yes.
R.I.P. to Stan Lee.
Yeah.
That's
great.
Those
are great comics too.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so I found it out not too long ago, and then they had the Crew, right?
Yeah. To me, that wasn't as good as The Truth, but I did like those.
Okay.
And I think I remember mentioning you needed to pick up Brother Man. Did you ever see any Brother Man?
I looked at them on eBay.
Okay.
And so they're out there on eBay, so I'm going to have to pick them up. Brother Man. Tell us about it real quick.
Brother named Dawood. Mm-hmm. I respect him too much, and I'm sorry. I always mess up his last name. Pronunciation-wise. Anabueli. Okay. Probably. Dawood Anabueli. Mm-hmm. Mutual respect and appreciation of each other's work from back in 1990.
Okay.
When they used to have the Black Expo.
Okay.
At
But Jacob?
No, it was the other place before they tore it down. It was by Columbus Circle. What was that? I can't remember what it was. It was a convention type thing over there. Okay.
But I remember over there.
And then it went to the Javits Center. He had come. Brother Man comic book actually came out maybe September 1990. Okay. And my first last word came out September 1990.
Okay.
So they're like in the same time spans. And I remember going to one of that Black Expos, maybe like the following year or maybe 6 months after that.
Okay.
Seeing him with his brothers with a booth. I just had spotted the comic book at Forbidden Planet in the village.
Okay.
Went through it. It's like, yo, this boy is crazy because he had the details and the illustrations and how everything looked. That was like, it's like,
so
seeing all that detail.
It wasn't one of those where you were like,
no. I was like, yo, I want to see more of this.
Right.
So seeing him at the fair, I never really was one and am one to walk over and be like, I'm Andre Leroy Davis. I do this, such and such. Just never been my flavor.
Right.
But when I saw him and he was there, I was like, just didn't want him to think that I was just another person just saying, "Yo, your art is good," without him understanding that I knew the work and detail you put into it.
As a peer.
So yes. So I'm like, I'm this, and he's like, "Oh, I love your work," and I'm like, "Yeah, I love your work. I got this comic book right here," and we've been cool ever since.
Ever since?
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, the art show I just curated over the weekend, one of his pieces was in the show. So. If you don't know who Brother Man is, the comic book, you definitely got to do your research. He put out a new, what is it? A graphic novel, maybe about a year and a half ago. A new one, just updated. And he's working on the second part right now. So make sure you get the old comic books where I think he did like 10 issues. But the graphic novel.
Okay, I'll make sure I'll post that on the show. Cool. And edit that on the show.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what's up.
Yeah.
I want you to address the hip hop audience, the hip hop world, right? The hip hop universe out there. Marvel Universe, hip hop universe.
Universal.
And I want you to give talk to them. If there's anything any message, anything you want to get across to the culture, I want you to express yourself.
That's deep. Well, it's kind of like what I think I pointed out earlier, that hip hop right now is just like a footstool. Everybody puts their foot on top of it, rest on their laurels, talk about what it was. But like I said, if we unify, communicate better with each other, don't be afraid to express the ideas that you envision could be in hip hop, how it can be used, how you can just live and breathe it. Because as a teacher, because I love hip hop, when I go into the classroom, I go in there with a hip hop mentality.
Gotcha.
I'm aggressive without being overbearing. I challenge my kids. I don't hold back anything from them. I'm in their face and direct. They know that is who I am. They know that's authentic. So it connects with them. I have kids in my classroom who address me as Mr. Davis. I have kids in my classroom who address me as Pop. I have kids in my classroom who address me as Dad, as Uncle. And a lot of that is because I've connected with them. Right. Maybe they don't have a father figure in the house. And I talk to them like maybe some teachers should not. Okay. But I let them know, yo, you effing up.
Right.
You're smarter than that.
You're able to get away with that because of
I can't say to them, yo, you're messing up. You're not. They're not gonna listen to me.
Right.
So I've got to challenge them. It's like, I can speak to you like this because you're in my classroom. I pay attention. I know what you are capable of. So I'm calling you on it. If you're doing dumb shit, I'm calling you on it. And you see that every time you do dumb shit, I call you on it. And when I see you do stuff that I know you can, I'm giving you praise. So I'm not on you just being negative all the time. I'm giving you positivity. So we got to do that with our young kids. Don't be afraid. If you come to them with an open heart in the beginning and you let them get to know you, you're not too forceful, then you can start having conversations with them. They will start to listen to you. So that's where the power of hip hop comes from. If we as adults talking to our friends, communicating with our friends, bring like-minded people around whatever kids you are around, whether you're teaching or in the neighborhood, it's an extension. We as adults got to get our shit together before we can go talk to kids and try and get them to get shit together.
That's real talk.
You know, because kids will see right away.
Right.
Like, how you telling me this? And your shit ain't together. Yes. Right? And that's what I expect. I mean, that's who I was.
Right. There you go.
You know, so we can have the power in hip hop that I know is there once we unify. And sadly, I would love it to be 115 of us all at once unified. But at this rate, if we get 2 of us unified, and then we get another 3, And we got the 5 of us, and we're all on the same page, same consistent voice, speaking the truth to the kids, helping them out as best we can. And I know everybody's got 8 million and one things to do, so I don't expect everybody to take it on. But if you got 5 and 2 of y'all can get there 1 week, and then another 2 the other week, and then maybe the following month all 5 of you can be there. That's what we need consistently to elevate the kids, elevate the power of hip hop, speak to them about politics, speak to them on why getting the latest sneakers should not matter as much as getting the latest gear together so you can get ready for a job interview, or get ready for school or whatever. So it's telling them that there's nothing wrong with getting a pair of flashy sneakers as long as you take care of the other things first. That'll be your reward.
Exactly.
Yes. I mean, because I'm old school. I won't buy a pair of new $100 Adidas until I step into the street and I feel my sock get wet. Then I know it's time for me to get a new pair of sneakers. But there's nothing wrong with treating yourself after you took care of business. And that's kind of what I stress to the kids when I see them walk around in school, hungry, didn't buy nothing for lunch, but they got on a brand new pair of sneakers. Eat that food first. Get that nourishment. Keep your brain up and awake so you're learning something. Then get that pair of sneakers in June after you made it through the whole school year. So it's us teaching them that possibilities are possible and it's endless. And just giving them the confidence that I think some of us as grown men should have, or some of us are still working on it. But at least we should have more confidence than they do. More life moments and just sharing it with them. Don't be afraid to, like I said, don't be afraid to tell a kid you don't know, and let them watch you do the research to find out, because then they will follow by example.
So you present that model. Right? And speaking of that, I wasn't gonna. I'm adding something in before the last question. But you talk about black love real quick. Right? And I know you're in a relationship. Right? Can we talk about that a little bit? You know, because black love is important.
Black love is important.
Right? And I've witnessed.
For those who love black love is important.
Oh
yes.
Yes.
You know what I mean, though.
Yes, sir. So tell us about your relationship.
I am in a relationship with another creative, which when I really think about it, is probably the first. So she is annoying. She is, what's the word I'm looking for? She's annoying. She is, word I called you earlier. She's a perfectionist. So now when I see that, when I say call her annoying or perfectionist, I don't mean it derogatorily. I just know what other people have dealt with for years with me. Because I'm annoying and I'm a perfectionist. I will do a drawing and I'll be like, I see something wrong with it. And she will say something to me like, there's nothing wrong with it. Then she'll do a drawing and I'll be like, that's great. And she sees something wrong with it. So I see the perfectionist trying to be brilliant, try to show our people in a perfect light, because that's what I do on the hip hop realm. She does that on the goddess black woman realm. And one of the things that amazes me about her and keeps me proud about her, I understand why women connect to her work, because she's passionate about her work and they see that. But I see it at home. I see how when an idea comes into her head, she toils over it. This has got to be just right. This headline should be here. This goddess, the element has to be exposed. And the reason why people connected to it is because at home, that's what she lives and breathes. She's putting into it. So, and I know that's what I do when I'm drawing hip hop. Whoever I'm drawing, if it's Eric B. Rakim, you will hear me playing their songs over and over again, just so I can get that vibe and transfer it to whoever. That was always my move when I was doing work for The Source. I'd either be listening to Stretch and Bobbito early in the morning while I was drawing, or if I was working on a specific MC, I'd be playing that music over and over again. I do my research. I knew, I lived and breathed
like
what I was doing.
Yes. You just took on
gotta
that
take
persona.
it over, you know? So it's just real, and the fact that she is the same way, and she loves her people. She loves our people.
Right.
That just makes the connection a whole lot easier.
Reflection, can we say her name?
Yes, Sheba Maya.
There we go.
Yes.
Wonderful.
ShebaMaya.com.
There it is.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And the last question I want to ask you.
Yes,
right?
the last word. Last question.
That's right. The last word. There you go. Hip hop president.
Hip hop president.
What do you think a hip hop president should do? Should be one of the first things or the top things on the agenda of the hip hop president?
All right. So, as someone who loves hip hop and who started doing some illustrations and the campaign drawings of like Eric B for president and Bismarcky, when I run for president, you better be a voter.
Right.
And Reagan is the president, I voted for Shirley Chisholm. I just started creating all of those, and so what I think someone who wants to claim the title of president, besides being sharp in their attire and reverent like in the whole thing.
Understood.
One of the tags that I use with what I have, I definitely think that person should be able to do. We have the current people's president, because I don't claim him. I'm talking about Make America Great Again.
Right.
Well, in this hip hop universe, because it's all about, you know, being in the street and being fly, it's about Make America Fly Again. So that's what I think a gentleman distinguished who's claiming the title of president should be Make America Fly Again.
Make America Fly Again.
Make America Fly Again.
Okay.
Yes.
Make America Fly Again. I'm actually seeing that in different ways.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, not just in the plane.
I understand. I understand.
But you know.
Right? I think I understand.
Fly.
I understand. Fly. Right?
Yes.
And soar.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll need to talk about that a little bit offline, a little more. I'll pick your brain a little bit more on that.
Yes.
All right. Well, Andre.
Yes.
Leroy Davis.
That's my pop.
Okay.
But no. So Andre Leroy.
Andre Leroy.
But I'll take Leroy. I get it.
Okay.
All. So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know why, but maybe it's the hat.
No, I get
Go
it.
fancy and French with it. Right?
I get it all. I get it all.
Andre Leroy. But your pops is Andre Leroy?
No, my pops was Leroy Davis.
Okay, Leroy.
Yeah,
Okay.
but everybody called him Leroy because that's
Leroy.
what he. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
AKA A.L. Dre.
A.L. Dre.
All right. Thank you very much for coming by to the suite.
Thank you for
spending time with us, spending time with the audience.
It's been cool and enlightening.
Thank you, and the same for me, and hopefully the same. I'm sure the same for our audience there.
Yes.
All right.
All right, man. Pleasure.
Until next time, pleasure.
Indeed.
My man.
The sweet.
Something sweet for y'all. Okay. We gonna make we influenced. We're prodded A.L. Dre to go back into the archives.
We're going to slip from Andre Leroy Davis to A.L. Dre, which stood for Allow Devastating Rap Enlightens.
Allow Devastating Rap Enlightens. That's what I'm talking about. A.L. Dre. Woo, look at that.
Yes. Oh. I'm a hustler, baby. Said I'm a hustler with a cause. But every little step I take, they seem to hit me with a pause. The game's rules always change. There's always a twist. See, a brother can advance, but advance at your own risk. The mathematics states if I move an arm, a leg, on my head, a wallet becomes a gun and they can switch cheese me with lead. 50-41, yo, they win every time. Cause when blue shoots black, yo, it's never a crime. But when I'm hustling to work, I always fit the script. But from where I'm red, I'm a black. Or from where I'm blue, I'm a crip. If I was Jamaican with 27 jobs, they still have a problem. Follow me around the store, across the street, so I can't rob them. So every day I'm hustling, bustling, moving, tussling, swinging bolos to heads, and I'm busting them.
The sweet.